Welcome back, adventurers of Arrakis, and as always, it is that time of week for the deep desert to be reset and our fortunes to go along with it. And hopefully we all are able to jump into that deep desert and find all the great nodes, materials, and labs that we are looking for so that we can excel at Dune Awakening. Before we get started, I have a few shout outs that we got to talk about. First of all, we had a shout out from Pacific 0271. Pacific 0271, thank you very much for informing us that inside the labs, even though they are in the PvP realm, they are turning PvP. So it's not as safe as we used to think, and this is something we could definitely probably talk to devs at some point in the future and try to get them to change so that we can start getting into that deep desert. However, the one thing I have to say is that the stuff that you are getting from these labs are still just run-of-the-mill garbage that you get back on the A column. So why they are making it PvP, I don't really understand. But either way, Pacific 0271, thank you so very much for that intel, because that is what we need to be hearing so that we can find out where it is safest for us to be traveling around. We have a second call out for Map Duke 3933. He has a question for us asking, how is it that you can go through these labs in the D zone solo? He says he's been trying for himself for a while and he knows that he's bad at the game, and let me know how you are able to do it. He hasn't tried D7 yet, but he will soon. I have one thing to say to you, Map Douche. You are not bad at the game. Those are extremely hard events to be running. I have done them solo, but let me tell you, it was so long that I couldn't even make a YouTube video about them because it took forever to finish. And by the time that I was even getting through the third, fourth wave, more people were already coming. Thus, it made it absolutely ridiculous to even think about it, because by the time you are getting anywhere close to halfway done, there's already people who are joining you and it all just goes away. Maybe in the future we can talk to the devs there at Funcom and ask them to please adjust exactly how difficult these labs are, because hey, you know what? I definitely would like to have the competition to get in there, but also if you're all by yourself, you get more loot. So this is the advantage to doing it solo. But once again, Map Duke 3933, you are not bad at the game, brother. You are the same as all of us. It's just you are walking into something that you have to be very patient and run around in a lot of circles a lot of the time in order to stay alive. Thanks for that question and the comments that came with it, with everybody backing them up and telling them that, hey, you are not that bad off. Finally, there's one shout out to Wacky Windy. Thank you, Wacky Windy, for supporting the channel and saying hello. I am here for you, so I'm glad that you are enjoying the content. Remember, if you have any questions about the deep desert, or you have any kind of shout outs that you're looking to put forward, please remember to leave comments below. I will pick a few comments every week and give those shout outs so that people can see that they are appreciated on this channel. Now it is time for what we've all been waiting for, the deep desert map. That's right, the deep desert map is looking pretty juicy. The first thing that I want to point out, because we all have been complaining that no matter what, we are not getting those in-game materials. Well, guess what? Stravinium and titanium right here. D3 and 4, ladies and gentlemen, they've given us a clear marker for where we can find it. Now, I'm not going to guarantee that you can actually get there and actually find these materials, because as always, if it is in the PvE safe zone, you are going to have somebody gathering this stuff on spawn. So make sure to get out there, see when it spawns, and then try to put that on a timer to try to figure out when these things are coming up. That way you don't have to get into the danger zone. And the danger zone this week is very dangerous. Nah, it's about the same dangerous as always, but we do have two spots that we need to absolutely take a look at. That would be, first of all, right here with F6. This is where you're gonna go to get all that titanium. That's right, it's gonna be a big island of titanium that you can jump out there and you can mine all day long if you can avoid the dangerous PvP guys who are jumping out there and killing us for no absolute reason at all. And of course, once again, G8, we have Stravinium. Look at that, Stravinium. So we have two islands that we can definitely look to that will have a multitude of nodes for us to jump out there and gather. So hopefully it is not as bad as it's been in the past few weeks, where you have to fly over multiple maps just to try to find 5 or 6 different nodes. These are going to be condensed up and nicely put together for us all. So the same as last week, there is going to be 1, 2, 3, and 1 right here close to the border, number 4. So we got 4 large spice blooms this week. This is going to be very advantageous for a lot of us because we do like to see large spice blooms. That's where you get the majority of your spice, and you know the little ones are usually just fakers. You try to pick it up and nothing actually comes up whenever you contract it with your little contracting tool, but it's okay. We have 4 big spice blooms and they seem to be very spread out this week. Now, of all of these spice plumes that I'm going to think is going to be the safest, we will color with green. I'm going to say right there is going to be your safest bet to jump in there and get your spice whenever it does pop up. The reason is there's not much else over here, and PvPers, as we know, love to try to kill us before we get safe. This is going to be right close up to the border. That's probably only like a 1-minute glide away. So the only thing you're really going to have to be worried about once you get into F1 for this large spice plume is dive bombers. That's right, keep your eyes in the skies. And one bit of a tip that I can give everyone is, if you do see an ornithopter coming to that spice plume, get in your ornithopter immediately, fly up to it and see whether it has storage or it has rockets. That's right, you gotta make sure, because if it does have rockets, they will sit there and hover until you get out of your ship. They will dive bomb you and they will kill you and take everything as well as your ship away from you. So make sure that you are at least getting up close and personal and making sure that you know whether they have hostile intentions. Now, when it comes to kind of that mediocre yellow, let's be careful zone, obviously I would say anything over here because we are very spread out this week and there's not really much that we can say, but right here is probably going to be the second spice plume that is large that you can probably get away with stuff. This is kind of close up here to the titanium, so if you have any kind of building islands that you can find on E, probably right along these lines, stretch 3 to 7 is going to be a great place for you to set up. Of course, anywhere along this path is going to be great as well, as you can just fly in there, get your spice, bring it back, drop it off, and keep going back and forth with the return trip. Now, obviously, we do have the dangerous areas, and I would definitely say anything that is deep inside of this zone is going to have some kind of danger attached to it, because once again, if they get you in numbers, they can gut you before you make it back to the safe zone. So keeping that in mind, I would like to make sure that everybody remembers, if you do not have your intel points fully filled out like I have and a lot of people have commented before, make sure that you're down here doing all of the labs. They are all PvE, they are all safe, nothing's gonna happen to you. You get 180 intel points, you cannot beat that. But as we have learned last week, be very, very careful when you hit the safe zone labs. This is because what we have found out was it is a PvE area, but when you go into the lab in this part of the deep desert, at least last week, it becomes PvP, and that ain't nice. So please be careful whenever you're jumping out there. Of course, we have 2 other labs that we can go into and all the wrecked ships, which we got 3 of out here this week. please make sure that if you are going to attempt the deep desert labs, that you're going with multiple friends so that you can clear these out in a quick and orderly fashion to get to the loot and get out before somebody comes up and tries to kill you. Once again, as always, thank you guys for coming and sharing this time with me. Make sure for any call outs or any questions to be left in the comment section below. I will do my best to answer everything and keep you guys informed. Thank you very much for coming and have a great day.